Hello, I'd like to welcome you to a tutorial about 2-inch paper piecing hexagons. This is what I have learned. This is my process. I'm not saying it's right, I'm not saying it's wrong, but it's what I have been figuring out. You start with a 5-inch square or a 6-inch square fabric, any type you want. I usually just use some sort of random cotton that I've collected along the ways. I bought my paper pieces from the site on the internet, Paper Piecing, because when I did try and cut out my own, I ended up with discrepancies, even though I traced and I cut them out, and they just weren't as crisp and exact, but I don't think it's as vital that it be exact. When you pick up your piece of fabric, you notice if you pull it one direction, it stretches a bit. If you pull it the other direction, it does not. And just for simplicity's sake, I usually take and line up the piece to the grain with the non-stretchy side to the two straight sides. From there, I grab my crooked straight pin. I have built a little curve into this straight pin because I put it in the middle and then I kind of squash it a little to make sure it's comfortable. My thread, I always use 2 strands on my needle because I'm too lazy to tie a knot at the top of the needle. And I'm going for speed and efficiency because this is basting. You're going to take it out later, so it's not like it has to be heirloom sewing quality. I have a random pile of fabric over here because I'm also too lazy to make a pin cushion. Alright, so I take my piece here, and I've got my straight grain side on the non-stretchy side of the fabric. I'm sure it's either a warp or weft, but I'm not sure. You fold over the top. I kind of tuck this other side back a little so I have kind of easier way to hold it. I happen to be left-handed. Sorry about that for anybody who's not go the other direction. I fold over the first corner. So I have my first crease. Take the needle, grab a small stitch, you kind of tap the fabric and then pull out. You don't actually go through the paper. You don't go through the paper or poke a hole in the paper. Once again, too lazy to tie a knot, so I pull the thread through till it's about 1 inch, then I tuck it under my thumb. Take the needle again and make a second stitch in approximately the same spot, kind of in a crisscross. Pull that tight, and I have not a knot that would work if you were pulling against it, but for, sitting in a pile, it's not going to come out. So I have my first corner done. So I go clockwise, I guess. You would go counterclockwise if you're right-handed. When I make my second fold, I'm going to use the direction I make my stitch to kind of lock it in. What I mean by this is I'm going to stitch upwards from the direction my thread will go at in the end. So right now my thread is going towards the left. I'm going to go from below, stitch up, and when I pull it out, it is going to cross back over itself and create kind of a lock. I don't know if you can see. I kind of have a rigged up camera situation here, so don't know how clear that is. I'll try and take some pictures and post them at the end. The next piece, next corner, I fold over. Once again, take my thread from the bottom, stitch up a small little stitch on that corner where it folded, pull it through, and then fold it down. Continue again. Usually I can get about 30 of these basted during a couple hours of TV shows on Netflix or Downton Abbey or whatever it ends up that I'm watching. It's pretty easy, something you don't have to concentrate with a lot. Now I'm on my last corner. I fold the thread down again. I park it underneath my thumbnail. just to keep it locked in place so it doesn't run away on me. I take my normal little stitch up, try and get my needle tied in a knot here. Then I take a second stitch in the same spot, just like I did in the beginning, and I pull it back through. I've created a little stitch. I'll get some contrasting thread on the next video. And then, just because I like neatness, I tuck it under that last little bit of thread that's hanging there. So when I cut it, it doesn't hang out. The little tails don't hang out. So now I pop my pin out, which is curved. And I think my needle has a bit of a curve to it also. And this creates a cute little hexagon. It is very pretty. I have multiple. At the moment I have this entire color set done. These are petals for the Grandmother's Flower Garden. So I have 6 of this variety of fabric. I have no idea what I'm going to put in the middle of it yet. But I have quite a few sets that I have not stitched a middle to yet. This is I use hair ties because it's easier to keep track of things. This is a set of 6. This is also a set of 6. Let me find a dark one here so you can see the thread a little better. This one is a dark blue. And you can see it's not really a knot at the beginning, it's just 2 stitches. And you go all the way around, you get back to the last fold, and you make an additional 2 stitches, and then you're done. Then they make nice, neat piles. And you can either do a variety of colors. Just look on the search engines under images for hexagon quilts, and you will see a ton of different varieties that you can do. I've collected fabric along the ways, and I have a pile of individual colors that I don't have enough petals for, and that's where things like this pile come in. That will make a multicolored quilt that is not in the Grandmother's Flower Garden pattern. It is a very, very portable project. This is something that sits in a little makeup bag in my tote. And this is a setup to do 6 more petals. I've got the fabric pre-cut with the little papers, and they're ready to go for some time when I'm in a waiting room or on my lunch break or watching TV. So this one's going to be next. It's the 6 pieces of fabric, the 6 papers, and I'll stitch them off, put a hair tie on them, and throw them in the bucket to deal with later. There are plenty of tutorials out there about how to sew them together. That I might try to do one of those later. But let's see if I can get a clearer close-up of the stitching so you can see what I'm talking about, and then I will let you go.